Welcome back to Giant Monster Games! I'm Adrian, and today we are playing some Death and Taxes. We can't keep a no-lander hand, but we can keep a one-land hand. So yes, Death and Taxes, the two things in life that are always guaranteed. We can keep this, actually, it's actually pretty good. And do I want an Aven Mindcensor on top? We're not going to play it. We need another land, which doesn't really help us out a lot. I think we can keep it, though. I think we can keep it. I think it can go on top. I would like to be able to make our opponent not draw extra cards. So I think it's okay to keep. We're going to keep it and see what happens. And we are playing against what looks like Skred, Snow-Covered Lands, and Relic of Progenitus is not going to help our opponent at all. So that's nice for me. I'm completely happy with our opponent playing Relic, and yeah, it works out well with our strategy. Let's throw down. So we have two options right now. We throw down Thraben Inspector. Our opponent knows we're playing Death and Taxes. We throw down Dryad Militant, and our opponent thinks we may be playing, zoo of some sort. Some, budget weird zoo thing. So we're going to go with Dryad Militant. At this point, it doesn't really make any difference for us. Obviously, we'll get the card draw, theoretically, off of Thraben Inspector, because we will get an artifact that we can then sacrifice. But we have a turn 2 play where we can do Thraben Inspector on turn 2 and potentially path something. So I think we're going to just leave it up. Mindstone. Okay, I see what you did there. So we go to combat, swing for 2 damage, and then we play a Leonin Arbiter. Our opponent will probably have to blow it up right away, would be my assumption, because if he doesn't, we're literally going to prevent him from doing stuff, which is kind of funny. Potentially not that much stuff, actually. If he's running, if he's doing mono red Skred, then Leonin Arbiter and Aven Mindcensor don't do anything really. But we're going to try it. We're going to give it a whirl. We're going to see what our opponent thinks. Ship to our opponent. And go, go, go. Because usually Skred runs from my experience, you either get red-white or sometimes red-blue Skred. Not very often red-blue Skred. But it looks like it is... So he's going to Skred us right away. I don't think there's any reason to, even though we can path whatever he plays, which is going to be the idea. So he's cracking... Oh, and he's playing another Mindstone. So he's getting a ton of mana. He might also be playing Worldfire as well. So there's Skred. Okay, well, for those that don't know what Skred is, by the way, Skred deals damage to target creature equal to the number of snow permanents you control. So there's a bunch of different decks that you can build around Skred. One of the more popular ones is one called Snow Swans, which uses snow-colored lands to play Skred, and then uses a Swan card which is where usually the blue or the white comes in, because it's a blue-white creature. And he uses Swans. With Swans is whatever deals damage, you prevent that damage and draw that many cards, or whoever dealt that damage draws that many cards. So you kind of use it to draw a ton of cards. And we don't have another... We don't have another, is the word I'm looking for. So we're going to go combat, swing for 2, which is fine. Oh, okay. So for a second there, I was like, why did this go to the Exile zone, exiled, rather than to the graveyard? And the answer to that is because this guy is sending instants and sorceries to Exile, not to graveyard. Which is cool, which is super cool for us. Again, one of the taxi things where opponent, if they had anything that could reduce some graveyard recursion, and they no longer get it. Okay, we now are going to play, I think, just another Thraben Inspector and probably a Dryad Militant. Or do we? I think the answer is we do. My big concern right now is our opponent is, if they are playing Skred, they are also probably playing... main board Anger of the Gods. I think we're going to go for it anyways. Just because if he doesn't have it main board and he doesn't have it in hand, then we'll be swinging in for 5 each turn, which is much faster for us. So he's going to Relic. He's Relicking targeting... oh no, he actually is exiling graveyards. Sorry. And I think we can just skip through our opponent's turn. I don't think there's anything we're really doing here. We're not going to crack our clue yet. And if we don't anything on our turn, if on our turn we don't draw anything relevant, we can also just crack a clue. So our opponent is cracking Mindstones to what? Draw extra cards. So again, if we pull out the Labyrinth, what is it called? Spirit of the Labyrinth, that's going to be really, really hard for our opponent to deal with, because they're no longer going to be drawing all these extra cards and stuff like this. So that'll have to be our next turn big play, I think. So what do we do? I think we just go to combat, swing in with both of these guys, and then we ship it through our opponent turn, and we play Aven Mindcensor on their end step. I think that's going to be the main, the best idea bet here. So, yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. So he plays a Mind Stone, which is okay. And then also what we can do on our turn is we can also crack Flooded Field of Runes. You might exile, okay. We also can exile that thing on our turn, that is. End step, we're going to play the Mindcensor. There you go. Mindcensor comes into play. We draw planes, which is actually quite good. So we can totally path this thing. What is this thing actually doing for us? You may cast from Exile. Oh, that's neat. When it becomes a target of a spell or ability opponent controls, exile it. Neat. That's super fun. That is super duper fun. So basically, if we target it with Path to Exile, it'll get exiled anyways, and he won't get the draw anyways, which is kind of funny. Kind of funny. The other thing we can do is we can always blow up lands, which I'm not super hot on, but I'm not hot on at the same time. So, yeah. I think what we do is we literally just swing in with everything. I think we go attack with all creatures, and we flash in Restoration Angel to save whichever he blocks. Which at this point I'm assuming is probably just the Dryad Militant. Yeah, I think that's what we do. Get more threats onto the board. You target the Militant. And then we ship it through to our opponent's turn. And the answer is going to be yes. We do want to do that. Because I don't really want to lose this thing. Okay. And then on our opponent's turn, they do another Mind Stone, drawing cards. Which is fine. I guess theoretically they could do the Mind Stone on their turn. And our opponent scoops it up. Apparently they don't think they have any answer for everything we have on our table. So we are playing against a Skred deck, which is in theory a type of red burn deck. So, but we also saw some really other weird stuff in there as well. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to throw in Firewalkers. We are also going to throw in both of their Burrenton Forge-Tenders, because they're actually quite good. We actually take out 2 Path to Exiles, because, again, they don't have a ton of creatures in their deck. We only saw one thing. I think we could actually take out... What else can we take out? Flickerwisp is marginally okay in this matchup. If we had an Aether Vial in the deck, it would be actually quite a bit better, but we don't, so it's not really worth it. And I think that's what we do. We just run it back like that. So, pull over Flickerwisp. I know Flickerwisp is a really good beater because it's 3/1 flying, so it's really hard to block. So maybe that's an argument to keep it, but I decided against it. What do I think of this opening hand? I think this is a fantastic opening hand. Arbiter, Spirit of Labyrinth, Keep, Snap Keep, and we also have this girl, which is hilarious. Yeah, she's going to basically shut down Skred for us. Because basically, this is like the perfect matchup for this exact card. So what's going to happen is whenever he decides to Skred our face for however much damage he's going to try and do, we're going to just prevent all damage from a source of your choice to be dealt this turn. Oh, prevent all damage or red source of D. Oh, wow. Okay, so this does more than just what I thought it did. I thought this was actually prevent damage to us. This is prevent damage, period. So if he decides to, like, Skred on his own creature to do some extra damage, like Scuffy Doll or something, we actually just prevent it entirely, which is super funny. And now we're about to make it so he has to try and draw cards on our turn, not on his turn, which is going to be funny as well. So Spirit of Labyrinth is the second card we play, which is also a 3/1 beater, which is fun. And then, yeah, ship it to our opponent's turn. Let's see if he realizes what's going on here. He must know that we're playing Death and Taxes at this point. Okay, so if our opponent decides he wants to sacrifice and draw a card, he has to do it on our turn now. He can't do it on his turn, so he's not going to be able to dig up his own answers, which is fun. And he's paying 3. Okay, so there's the other one. So it is, I guess it's not technically white. He doesn't need white for this, but this is one of the main cards. So whenever it deals damage, or whenever it is dealt damage, the player may you know the card. I'm reading the card here. Okay, so whenever Boros Reckoner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. And you can give it first strike until end of turn as well, which is neat. I think we throw down, at this point, we just throw down a Plains, we throw down an Arbiter, and then we path his Reckoner. Boros Reckoner. So it goes to Exile, he can't pay mana for it, so he doesn't get any value off of it, and then we just swing for 4. Pretty sweet. Go to combat, go to our opponent's turn. That's all we're doing this time. We're done here, folks, we're done. So yeah, so this is the thing. I mean, Path Exile is a really good card. Don't get me wrong. Path Exile is a really good card. But it usually gives your opponent... so opponent basically gets to go and fetch up a basic land whenever you exile one of their creatures. So you lose a little bit of tempo, especially in early game. Like right now, giving him 4 mana versus... Or giving him 4 lands versus us only having 3. We have more lands, mind you. Can really create like an early game tempo for your opponent, which can be really difficult. And our opponent scoops it up. I guess they have no answers. And they probably... Oh, no. I feel bad for our opponent. So our opponent is scooping it up because they are getting a little bit butthurt because they decided to crack Mind Stone on their turn and they didn't draw a card because of Spirit of Labyrinth. Well, this has been Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and until next time, don't forget to game like a giant monster. Thanks for watching the video. This is Adrian from Giant Monster Games, as you may have guessed. If you want to support the channel even more and directly, I have now created a Patreon page which you can go over to by clicking on the link in the description or clicking on the Patreon logo in this video. Also, if you want to check out one of my past videos, you can check them out right here or here.